So you want to learn how to wheelie, huh? I got you. Honestly, it's not that hard. It just takes practice. Alright, so before we get started, I don't condone anything that I'm about to say. Alright, I'm not encouraging anything. I'm just relaying information for you know what I'm saying. Alright, well, that being said, let's get started. There's a few important things to know before you get started. The size of your motor, obviously. So if you're doing it on a 600, those are a lot more forgiving than doing it on 1000. So just be careful. So make sure that you got a good set of tires that grip, that your tires are warm, so you're not doing it on cold tires, and that the ground you're doing it on is like good ground. So like asphalt that's like not cracked, there's no potholes, there's no gravel, the ground's not cold, like it's actual warm ground like it is right now. So I would take all of those factors into account before you even like think about attempting one. But that being said, that was kind of self-explanatory, but let's go. All right, so I think a thing that I want everyone to know beforehand is how to rev match, right? So if you don't know how to rev match, rev matching is super easy. If you guys want to learn how to rev match and you don't know how to already, I could also make a video on that. But if you don't already know how to rev match, then you're probably like new at riding. In that case, you probably shouldn't be learning how to wheelie, but you know, yeah, it is what it is, whatever. All right, so rev matching, obviously it's boom, right? That is quite literally the best way that I can explain how to wheelie. It is rev matching without you like kicking down to downshift. So essentially, like, you're already on the gas, right? You're going, and then clutch, roll on the gas, and then dump the clutch. And then you are going to want to roll off the throttle a little bit, but not all the way, because if you cut it, your bike's just going to come slamming down. So you're going, you're on the gas, clutch in, throttle, clutch out, release, and then put it back on so that you keep the bike in the air. At that point, you're just feathering it. Can you go away? Can you do this somewhere else? Thank you. As I was saying, so that's literally all it is. So you're on the gas, clutch in, give it gas, clutch out, roll off, and then feather it a little bit. So fastly, it's like, hopefully you can see it, it's like that. It's literally all it is. So essentially, it's not super slow where you're clutch, rev it up, dump it. It's not like that. It's literally, it all happens pretty smoothly. So that's essentially it. Now, so once you get that down, you're gonna get a little jump. So we're gonna get on the road for this part. I forgot to add also traction control. If you have traction control and you're able to turn it off, turn it off. It'll make your life a lot easier. All right, so as I was saying before, so as soon as you have that little motion of that, like, of the somewhat rev matching, if you do it while you're on the road, it should look like this. So I'm on the gas, I'm gonna clutch in, give it gas, and dump it. Like that. As you can see, it's not that hard to get up. All it takes is that clutch, rev it up, dump it, feather the throttle. That's all it is. And so what I would recommend, once you get that down, right, so you're gonna start feeling it out, and it all comes down to you knowing your bike. You're gonna want to experiment. So either, like, I don't know, give it a little more clutch, hold it in for that half second longer, give it a little less throttle, give it more throttle, whatever the case is. Toy around with it a little bit and see what starts kicking that front end up higher. Once you start getting that, just keep practicing it and getting used to it. Honestly, it just becomes so much more natural, like, the more you do it. That's kind of a given, but, like, I mean, it is what it is. You start understanding it the more you do it. I was really annoyed with people whenever they tried telling me how to wheelie. Like, I know Zola R1 and Shark Boy, when they're both, like, giving me tips, they would tell me that, like you gotta feel it out. Like, And then that would just piss me off. I'm like, what do you mean just feel it out? They're not even wrong. Like, that's quite legitimately what it is. You just got to do it enough times to know your own bike for you to be able to say, hey, I got to give it this much and do that in order to make it do this. As stupid as that sounds. So once you start getting the front end up a little bit, immediately I would start using the rear brake. So if I put it up, I tap my rear brake just to bring me right back down. So no matter whether you're doing a good wheelie or a bad one, I would start the habit now of using that rear brake to bring you back down. That'll build the habit, so if anything happens in a wheelie and like you're about to loop, you're about to go back, oh no, I'm not comfortable, I'm going too far, then you can just tap that rear brake and bring yourself right back down. I had people recommending that to me. I never learned that way, and I do regret it. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, I can get decently high in a wheelie, but I'm not setting that balance point or anything. I'd be a lot more comfortable if I got used to my rear brake. Unfortunately, I did not do that, so I'm suffering the consequences of, you know, trying to learn that after I learn how to wheelie. So to avoid that, please start using your rear brake anytime that you bring it up. All right, so how I like to do it as well is I like to be in second gear. I don't wheelie in anything other than second gear. That's just me. I know Zola will say that he wheelies in second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't do that. I only wheelie in second just because I know the power band. I know it the best. That's what I've toyed with. That's what I'm comfortable with. For you, you got to learn your bike's power band, and like I said before, you just got to like feel it out depending on your bike. So like mine, it also depends on your speed. So if I'm at a lower speed, I need to give it more gas. I know I'm capable of, I've clutched up at, like, what is my lowest? 35? So I've clutched up at 35. I could probably do 30. I could probably do lower, honestly. It's just all how much gas you give it. And then on top of that, I've clutched up at 90, which is like, so you know, it varies. I tried it around 6,000 RPM. All right, so originally I tried it at like 50 or 55 miles an hour. I don't remember which one, but I picked one. And then eventually I switched to trying to do it at 6,000 to 6,500 RPM. So I'm guessing a lot of you are going to be trying this on a 600. And from my experience on a, so I've wheeled a lot more on a 1000 than I have on a 600, but 600s are ridiculously easy to wheelie, only because it's like super smooth. So as you saw before, like, you know, like a 1000 will like be super touchy. Like, it literally just throws you up. Now if you're on a 600, it's super linear. It's like super smooth. It's more forgiving. So I would recommend starting on like a 600, like on an R6. Oh, those are stupidly easy. But if you're learning on 1000, by all means, I learned on 1000, so I can't say anything. When you start to get them up, what you're gonna see happen is like you're going to feel like you're super high, and you're not. You're honestly not. You're gonna be staring straight over your windscreen, and your front tire is gonna be like 6 inches off the ground. You know what? That feels like, it feels like you're hitting 12 when it's your first time. It'll get a lot easier the more you do it. That's why I'm saying you should also get used to using that rear brake, just because that'll allow you to actually get higher. It'll build a safety within your brain so that you know, all right, I'm comfortable getting it up, but if I go too far back, tap the rear brake, bring it back down. That's really all it is to it. Now this is like a how-to, it's not how to hit balance point, right? So this is essentially how to get your front end up. Make sure when you do it, you're not by any cars. You're like on it. You know, I don't even know how to say it, all right? Because then again, I'm not condoning any of this. Just make sure you're not putting anyone or yourself in danger, please. Thank you, because I love you. You're gonna know if you're doing it right when you can't see anything in front of you. That's what sucks. So that's what's really dangerous about wheelies as well. On top of, like, you know, being on one wheel, you're in a sit down at least, you can't see in front of you, so you know how high you are basing off of like your visibility. So every time that I do it, I can't see anything, and sometimes I'll lower them just so that I can, you know, see in front of me. I don't know, sometimes I get tired of not seeing anything. I don't know, sometimes you just get tired of it, so then you just like, all right, I kind of want to see what's in front of me, and then you just keep them lower. But then that's also dangerous at the same time, because you can chase them out, and that's going to happen regardless. So especially when you're learning, you're going to chase out your wheelies a lot, and you know, it is what it is. It's unavoidable. Now there's a difference between that. Oh, Sandy. There's a difference between doing that when you're learning, and then once you know how to wheelie. Honestly, I'm not on board with those people that chase, like, they're literally like this. Look, they're like this high, looking straight over, and all they're doing is chasing it out, banging up through the gears, and hitting like a wheelie at like 150 miles an hour. I don't like that. It's not that impressive to me, because like really there's no skill involved in that. To me, I much rather like throw it up and drop it back, just because that actually takes some amount of effort and it's harder. So on top of you getting it up just barely, right? So you're a couple inches in the air, like a foot off the air, whatever it is, you're going to want to also close the throttle, right? So you're going to freak out and you're going to close the throttle, and then your whole bike is going to come slamming down. Woo! That should be avoided, right? So when I was learning, I did that, and then this fork stem nut came loose, like super loose. So like, it's supposed to be torqued down, and I could undo it with my hands, which is very bad. So that can happen. You obviously, you know, you can bust a fork seal, not good, expensive to fix. So let's avoid all that by reapplying the throttle whenever we come out of a wheelie. Reapplying that throttle, even on like a low wheelie, will then again build that habit of you softening that landing so that you don't come crashing down. That's also a good way to prevent speed wobbles as well. So if you're the person that ends up chasing it out and you just slam your bike down, but your wheel isn't perfectly straight, then you start getting speed wobbles, and then that's how a lot of people crash when they come down from a wheelie, is that their wheel's not straight. And to avoid that, you can come down smooth and slow. So no matter what, you hit that rear brake. If you even let go of the throttle to like bring it back down, every time I bring myself back down, I close the throttle a little bit, right? So I just like that, and then I reapply the throttle, because you close the throttle, it's going to put you down, but you reapply, it's going to smooth it in and out, if that makes sense. So in case you guys are curious, I'm running for my tires, I'm running the Michelin Road 5s right now. I do want to switch to the Power 5s. I've never ridden with the Power 5s, but that's what Zola R1 and then I'm Carson, they both run the Michelin Power 5s, so I want to try that. I keep getting recommended to me. I just have yet to actually go try it. So I'm gonna go try that afterwards. And then on top of that, right now, I would recommend learning how to wheelie. Alright, so here's the thing with tire pressure. Lowering your tire pressure is going to be good because it gives you more surface area, hence more grip. So you're going to grip harder on the road. Now when you do that, learning how to wheelie is going to be good because it's going to grip harder. So it'll be easier for you to pick the bike up. At the same time, it's a con, it's more dangerous because it grips harder. It's going to throw the bike up easier. Now some of you might not be ready for the amount of grip that you're actually going to get from doing so. So I would recommend keeping your tire pressure at like 32. I'm pretty sure that's what I learned on. I never dropped my tire pressure until recently. Yeah, so I don't know if I said it. I dropped mine to 26, and I don't know, I like it. It's super squishy, super nice. But learning it, I don't know, that's what I'd have to say about tire pressure. The squishier you go, the more grip you're gonna get, the easier it is for the bike to be thrown in the air, like wheelie. But that could be a good or a bad thing depending on the rider. So just be careful. I would recommend probably 32 just to learn, but really it's up to you. I learned on the Dunlop Q3 Plus. That's the original tire that I had. I didn't mind it. It's a good tire. It's really good tire when it gets warmed up. It's just it needs to get warmed up. So every time that I tried clutching up, I was spinning, just like every single time, until eventually my tire decided to warm up. All right, watch me get it up, all right? And then I feather it. Ease back on the throttle, let it down, just that easy. I know personally when I was learning, I'll put a clip in of when I just started learning wheelies. So eventually when I actually started getting it, or after my bike was down because I was working on it, I was riding the R6, and then I was wheeling on that, and then I went back to the R1, and then I realized that I was babying the throttle, because as soon as I attempted my first clutch up on the R1, I almost 12 o'clocked it. It really comes down to you not being afraid of the bike as well as respecting it. So just be careful when you're doing it, because obviously there's a lot that could go wrong, but just keep in mind that you might just be babying it a little too much. That might be why you're not getting the results that you're looking for. Really, at the end of the day, all it is practice, and it's just that's really all it is. I hope that it helped you out. I hope you enjoyed it, because I know every time that I've watched the how to wheelie, it was not helpful. Either the explanation is super bad, or the person that I was learning from didn't know how to wheelie. So I hope that you can take away something from this. If you can't, don't be afraid to leave a comment. I'll do my best to get to everybody, because I want to help you guys out. Remember, I don't condone any of this. Be safe. I love you. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye.